How many Arkham fans are in the audience right now? Watching this video, Batman's had a pretty solid track record with video games, way more consistent than some other superheroes like Superman, who can't get a good video game to save his life. Now, when it comes to good superheroes for video games, Batman and Spider-Man are two of the big ones, but Batman's dominance in the gaming world has long since passed, and even though the Arkhamverse is returning later this year, the community's confidence levels, they're not very high. Welcome to the page, everybody. Chaos here. Today, we're going to talk about the future of the Arkhamverse. That's right. We're going to talk about Batman Arkham. What needs to change, whether or not it's going to survive the next few years, when the next actual Arkham game could actually be coming. So make sure you're subscribed with those notifications on and stick around for the entire video because we have a lot to go over. Now, the first Arkham game dropped in 2009. Took the world by storm. Not only was it the voice cast, basically a giant Batman animated series reunion, but the gameplay, it was unique. It was innovative. Featured this Metroidvania-style map with some awesome counter-based combat and unique stealth sections that made you feel like the Dark Knight in every way possible. Now the sequel, Arkham City, came a few years later, cranked everything up again. Featured a huge map, much bigger, much more elaborate story, complete with side missions, gadgets, all kinds of stuff. A lot of people consider Arkham City to be the best superhero game of all time. I'll let you debate that out with Marvel's Spider-Man. And when it comes to influence in the gaming industry, Arkham City is probably the biggest deal in the series. Then the trilogy concluded with Arkham Knight in 2015, which featured this massive open-world version of Gotham and the introduction of the Batmobile. But a lot of people, they were let down by the game because of its overly large size and over-reliance on vehicle sections. Now, those are valid criticisms, but the game was really good. It was. When it comes to open-world superhero games, I think it's worthy of the praise. So the Arkham trilogy was awesome, and it set the gold standard for superhero games to come. But, like most good things in the gaming industry, it didn't last forever. So, after the Arkham series wrapped, Warner Brothers struggled to keep the DC universe relevant in the world of video games. Injustice 1 and 2, solid fighting games, I enjoyed the story, but also admittedly kind of niche and not exactly the casual success story that the Arkham trilogy was. Telltale Games comes into the mix. Had a couple Batman games that were good. Just not exactly the kind of raging success that Warner Brothers was hoping for after Rocksteady blew everybody's socks off. It wasn't until the last few years that Warner Brothers actually started putting effort into reviving the DC universe in the AAA gaming world. And that all started with Gotham Knights. Rocksteady was supposed to make this giant comeback to the world of DC, and, well, we'll talk about that in a couple minutes. And I should mention that over the last year or so, there's been a lot of rumors floating around about a potential remaster of Arkham Origins, which has typically been seen as just, I don't know, the oddball of the Arkham franchise. It was the only game to not be developed by Rocksteady. While it had a good story and genuinely excellent open world design, it also had a lot of bugs on launch day, which led to a lot of people writing it off and never revisiting it, or never going through it once, because honestly, it's a shame. Now that it's been patched up, it's a really, really good Batman game, arguably better than Arkham Knight. But due to the lackluster reviews and the lower than expected sales, Arkham Origins was excluded from the Return to Arkham Remastered collection. It was also the only Arkham game to not get any kind of performance enhancement on the later consoles. Why? Why? Well, let's talk about that. Warner Brothers basically forgot about the game after it came out, but a little over a year ago, rumors started floating about a possible remaster, which would actually make a lot of sense given the fact that Arkham Origins teased the Suicide Squad at the end of its campaign, and Rocksteady's next big game is a long-awaited Suicide Squad spinoff. That's right, Arkham Origins had an Easter egg in the campaign about the Suicide Squad. Now, the rumors were a little inconsistent, with some saying it would be this full-fledged remaster similar to the Return of Arkham collection. Others said it would be this big performance patch, essentially just beefing up the frame rate, maybe adding some RTX support on the PC version. Some kind of Arkham Origins re-release or remaster would be a really, really good way to hype up the Arkhamverse. I mean, also giving love to a less appreciated entry in the franchise and hyping up the universe's version of the Suicide Squad. So the leading theory was that Warner Brothers would drop the Arkham Origins re-release in the months leading up to the Suicide Squad's release. But with the Suicide Squad now being delayed, and there's no official news about Arkham Origins, I'm going to say that this rumor was just somebody being goofy on Reddit, which is a shame because honestly, I think it would have been this super successful game. A great way to somewhat reduce the Suicide Squad backlash. Now, speaking of the Suicide Squad backlash, I told you we'd come back here. Rocksteady's return to the Arkhamverse was supposed to be this awesome comeback story, but once we actually saw gameplay of it, the hype turned into anger. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is nothing like previous Arkham games. Instead, it's a full-priced live service game with gameplay that, it's more like a third-person shooter, third-person version of Destiny. Focus on the guns, the explosives, melee combat, stealth encounters. That's Rockstar's bread and butter. I guess the environments look nice, but the gameplay is outdated. In 2023, nobody wants to pay full price for a live service game, especially when it's attached to a single-player franchise that we've been waiting almost a decade to revisit. Suicide Squad had this huge showcase during the first state of play of 2023, and following intense player backlash, it was indefinitely delayed, although insider reports have come out and said that the game is very unlikely to be dropping its live service aspects. Probably because they're integrating the game design and they can't. Needless to say, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is dead on arrival, probably. And the Arkhamverse revival hype train, it's kind of been derailed. So, what happens next? Well, the Arkhamverse is a massive property that Warner Brothers does not want to walk away from, especially when the previous games are so beloved. There's a lot of hype for the Arkham Origins remaster that apparently doesn't even exist. So, needless to say, there is money to be made for Warner Brothers. They just have to be aware of this. Gotham Knights was a really, really bad way for gamers to be reintroduced to the DC Universe. I played through the whole game. It wasn't good. And now Suicide Squad's seemingly going to be dead on day one. I don't know. That's not going to completely stop the publisher from trying something new. It won't, right? Not too long ago, there were a handful of rumors about a new Batman game, but I don't know how legitimate those rumors actually were. And given how much time Rocksteady has put into Suicide Squad, I think even if another Batman game is coming, we're 3 to 4 years out. Now we have a rumor of a Superman game. Honestly, I think the best course of action right now for Warner Brothers is to quietly rework Suicide Squad as much as they can, but also start work on some kind of Arkham Remastered collection, maybe even a remake of the trilogy. The 2020s have had a lot of remakes already. I don't think people would be upset about a remake collection of the Arkham games. Warner Brothers needs a win. They need it fast. If they want to revive this franchise, I think the safest way to make it happen, just remake the previous games with modern graphics, perhaps some new gameplay mechanics, include Arkham Origins, and you're good. I never thought I'd be begging for a remake of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, but I think we can all agree at this point that if we want the Arkhamverse to continue into the future, that's kind of really the only option. Or you just let Insomniac make a Batman game and we'll all be good. Now, the Arkham series is one of the most important in gaming history, and if it weren't for Rocksteady, we wouldn't have so many things that we now consider commonplace in video games. Counter-based combat, predator encounters, all of those things that every superhero game is basically just expected to have, Rocksteady's the one that gave them to us in the first place. So it pains me to see what's become of them. I really don't think it's their fault. Suicide Squad has been in development for a long time, and at the time that it started, live service games were all the rage, so I really don't think their situation is entirely of their own making. But with that being said, the Arkhamverse is in a lot of trouble unless Warner Brothers can course correct very soon and very effectively. If they're not planning on remastering anything, they need to remake something quick. Suicide Squad, DOA. As long as that game is in development, we basically know for a fact that nothing else is coming, right? I don't want to see this franchise crash and burn, but that's the trajectory we're on right now, and as much as I hate it, I can't deny it. So what do you guys think about the future of the Arkhamverse? Do you think Suicide Squad actually looks bad, or do you think we're overreacting? Maybe we are. Let me know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, notifications turned on, and if you like these more diverse gaming commentary videos, I'll see you guys on the next one.